Hi, today we're going to be practicing using substitution in equations to generate tables of ordered pairs. First, I want to quickly remind you what ordered pairs are. An ordered pair is a pair of values written in brackets in a specific order, like this. We write the x value first, and then the y value is second. We're going to be using ordered pairs a lot when we're working with graphs, so it's important to be familiar with them. Now let's go on to generating tables of ordered pairs. We can use substitution to generate a table of ordered pairs for a specific equation. Let's have a look at our first example. In this example, you've been given an equation y equals 2x squared minus 18 with the x values negative 4, 0, and 2 and the y values negative 16, 0, and 32. What we need to do is take the given x values and y values and substitute them into the equation and find the corresponding y values and x values so that we can get ordered pairs, which we will then put into our table. Okay, let's go and have a look at how we would do this. Okay, so first of all, we've been given the equation y equals 2x squared minus 18, and we need to take the x values that we've been given and substitute them into that equation to find the corresponding y values. So the first x value is negative 4. So I'm going to take y equals 2 times x squared is going to be negative 4 squared minus 18. And remember, when we're doing substitution, we put the value that we're substituting in brackets. Okay, now let's go and simplify this so that we have 2 times 16 minus 18, that's 32 minus 18, and that gives us 14. So now we have our x value and the corresponding y value that forms an ordered pair of negative 4, 14. Okay, now let's go and find the ordered pair for the next x value we've been given, which is 0. So I've got y equals 2 times 0 squared minus 18. So that's 2 times 0 minus 18. That's 0 minus 18, which is negative 18. So I have an ordered pair from this x value and that y value is 0, negative 18. And then the last x value we were given was 2, so that's y equals 2 times 2 squared minus 18. So that's 2 times 4 minus 18, which is 8 minus 18, and that gives me negative 10. So now my ordered pair is 2, negative 10. So those are the ordered pairs that I get from the x values that I was given. Now let's go and look at the y values. They're going to be a little bit more tricky to do. So I start off by substituting in my first y value, which is negative 16, and that goes in over here where y is in the equation, and I then have 2x squared minus 18. Now I need to go and solve for x. Now this is a quadratic equation. Now when we're doing quadratic equations, we've learned that we need to move everything to one side and have 0 on the other side. Now in this case, I'm going to move my terms to the right because x squared is already on the right and it's positive. So I'm not going to move it because then it'll make it negative. So I'm going to keep it where it is, and I'm going to get rid of the negative 16 here by adding 16 on both sides. So then I have 0 equals 2x squared, negative 18 plus 16 is going to be negative 2. Okay, now I've got 2x squared minus 2. There is a common factor here of 2, which I can get rid of by dividing by 2. And because it's an equation, I can divide all the terms by 2, and then I don't have to write the 2 outside brackets like I would normally do if I'm taking out a common factor. I normally have to do that, but because it's an equation, I can just divide all the terms by 2 and cancel out that 2. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared, and negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. So now I've got 0 equal to x squared minus 1. Now this is difference of 2 squareds, so I'm going to factorize that by putting down 2 sets of brackets. The first term in each bracket is going to be the square root of the x squared, so that's x, and the second term in each bracket is going to be the square root of 1, so that's going to be 1 and 1, and then one bracket gets a plus and the other one gets a minus. Okay, so now I've got x plus 1 times x minus 1 equal to 0. When I've got a factor multiplied by a factor equal to 0, the only way that I can get 0 when I multiply them together is if at least one of them was 0 to start with. So now I can say, therefore, x plus 1 must be equal to 0, or x minus 1 must be equal to 0. Now I can solve each of those little equations to find out what the values of x are. So therefore, x is equal to -1 or x is equal to +1. So now I'm going to get two ordered pairs for this y value because I've got two x values that work with that y value. Okay, so my ordered pairs are going to be -1 is my x value and -16 is the y value. And then another one is where x is 1, so that's going to be 1 and -16. Okay, so I have two ordered pairs from that given y value. Now we're going to do the next y value, which is 0. So I have 0 equals 2x squared minus 18. Now this one I don't need to do the first step that I did over here because it's already got 0 on one side. So I can go straight ahead and cancel out that 2 by dividing all the terms by 2. So that's going to be 0 equals x squared minus 9. So I've divided everything there by 2. Now I've got difference of 2 squares again. So that's going to be 2 brackets over there, x and x are my first terms in the first term in each bracket, and then the second term is going to be the square root of 9. So that's going to be 3 and 3. One bracket gets a plus and the other one gets a minus. Now I can go and make each of those factors equal to 0. So therefore, x plus 3 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. And now I can solve for x in each of those little equations. So therefore, x equals -3, or x equals +3. And that once again gives me two ordered pairs. The first ordered pair there is going to be -3, 0. And the second ordered pair is going to be 3, 0. Okay, now let's go and do our last y value that we were given, which is 32. Okay, so I've got 32 equal to my equation, which was 2x squared minus 18. And now we can go and solve for x again. But first, I need to get the 32 away from this side. So I have 0. So I'm going to have 0 equal to, I'm going to be subtracting 32. So that's going to be -18 minus 32. That gives me -50. Again, I need to divide through by 2. So I have 0 equals x squared minus 25. And then I'm going to factorize my difference of 2 squares here. So I open my 2 brackets. X is the first term in each bracket again because that's the square root of x squared. And then the square root of 25 is 5. So that's going to be the second term in each bracket. And one gets a plus and the other one gets a minus. Now I can take each of those factors and make them equal to 0. So therefore, x plus 5 equals 0, or x minus 5 equals 0. And then I can solve for x. So therefore, x equals -5, or x equals +5. Okay, and then my ordered pairs are going to be -5, 32, and 5, 32. Okay, so now I've got all of the ordered pairs from the x and y values that I was given. Okay, so here are my ordered pairs that I got from the given x values. And here are the ordered pairs that I got from the given y values. Now we're going to go and put those into our table. When we put them into the table, we need to put them in increasing values of x. Okay, so I'm going to find the smallest value of x. Out of all of these ordered pairs, the smallest value of x is going to be -5 over here. So first value I'm going to be putting in is x is -5, and then the corresponding y value is 32. Okay, so that's my first ordered pair. Now we're going to go on to the next x value, which is going to be the -4 over here. Okay, so I have -4, and then the corresponding y value is 14 in my table. Then the next x value is going to be the -3 over here. So that goes next over there with its y value of 0. Then the next x value that I've got is going to be -1, and its y value is -16. Then I've got 0, and the y value is -18. Then the next x value is going to be 1, with the y value -16 again. And then I've got an x value of 2, and a corresponding y value of -10. Then I've got an x value of 3, and the corresponding y value is 0. And then I have got an x value of 5 with a corresponding y value of 32. Okay, so that's what our table should look like for that example. Okay, now I'm going to give you a couple that you're going to do for yourself. Here's the first one that you're going to do. Here you've been given the equation 3x minus 4, and the x value is negative 2, 0, and 5, and the y value is negative 16, 0, and 5. And I want you to do the same thing that we did in the example. You're going to take the equation, substitute in the x values and find the corresponding y values, and then substitute in the y values and find the corresponding x values, and then put it all into the table in increasing values of x. I'm going to give you 4 minutes to do this question. Okay, so let's go through that question and see what you should have got. Right, so we're starting off with the equation 3x minus 4, and the first x value that we're going to be using is negative 2. So I need to go and find the y value for that by substituting it into the equation. So I've got y equals 3 times negative 2 minus 4. That gives me negative 6 minus 4, which is negative 10. So that gives me the ordered pair negative 2, negative 10. Okay, then we have the x value 0. So that's going to be y equals 3 times 0 minus 4. So that's 0 minus 4 is negative 4. That gives me the ordered pair 0 minus 4. And then the last x value is 5. So it's going to be y equals 3 times 5 minus 4. So that's 15 minus 4, which gives me 11. So then I have the ordered pair 5, 11. Okay, so those are the ordered pairs you should have got from the x values you were given. Now we're going to go and do the y values that you were given. So the first y value is negative 16. So I have negative 16 equals 3x minus 4. Now I'm going to solve for x. So I'm going to take the x to the left. So I have negative 3x equals negative 4 plus 16 is going to be 12. And then I divide by the negative 3. So therefore x is equal to negative 4. Okay, so our ordered pair from that should have been negative 4, negative 16. Okay, now the next y value is 0. So that's 0 equals 3x minus 4. So again, if I take the 3x and I get rid of it on the side, I'm going to subtract on both sides. That's negative 3x equals negative 4. Then x is equal to a negative divided by negative is positive, and 4 over 3. I can't simplify that, so it stays like that. So our ordered pair is going to be 4 over 3, 0. Okay, and then the last y value is 5. So that's going to be 5 equals 3x minus 4. Again, I have negative 3x on this side now. Then I'm going to subtract 5 on this side. So I have negative 4 minus 5, that's negative 9. Then I have a negative divided by negative is positive, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that gives me x equals to 3. So my ordered pair here is going to be 3, 5. Okay, so those are the ordered pairs that you should have got. Right, so let's go and put it into a table. Now remember, we need to put them in ascending order of x, in increasing order of x. So the first one is going to be this one, which has the smallest x value. So it's negative 4 for x and negative 16 for y. Okay, then our next one is going to be negative 2 for x and negative 10 for y. Then our next one is going to be 0 for x with negative 4 for y. Then we have 4 over 3 for x and 0 for y. Then we've got 3 for x and 5 for y. And then finally 5 for x and 11 for y. And that's what you should have got in your table. Okay, so now let's go on to our next example, which is actually the last one for today. So in this question, you've been given the equation y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. You've been given these x and y values. You need to do the same thing again in this example. You're going to find the corresponding y values for those x values, find the corresponding x values for those y values, and then put them into the table in ascending orders of x. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 minutes for this question. Okay, so let's go through that and see what you should have got. Right, so first of all, our equation this time is y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. The first x value that we're going to be working with is negative 2 again. So we've got y equals negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 minus 3. Okay, so that gives me 4 plus 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then minus 3. So that's 8 minus 3 is 5. So our ordered pair for that x value should be negative 2, 5. Okay, now we're going to go on to our next x value, which is 0. So that's going to be y equals 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 3. So that's 0 minus 3, which is negative 3. So our ordered pair there is going to be 0, negative 3. And then the last x value is 5, so we've got y equals 5 squared minus 2 times 5 minus 3. So that's going to be 25 minus 10 minus 3, and that gives us 12. So our ordered pair there should be 5, 12. Okay, so those are the ordered pairs that we get for the x values we were given. Now we're going to go on to the y values. Okay, so the first y value is negative 4. So I've got negative 4 equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, so again, I need to get 0 on one side. So I'm going to add 4 on both sides. So it's going to be 0 equals x squared minus 2x, and then negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. Okay, now I've got a trinomial that I'm going to factorize. Okay, now remember when we factorize a trinomial, we open two brackets. So I need to have two brackets like that. The first term in each bracket is going to be x. And then I'm using the factors of 1 that I must add to get 2. Now there's only one possibility. 1 times 1 gives me 1. So it's going to be 1 and 1. And then I've got a minus sign in each, because if this term over here is positive, the signs are going to be the same, and they both take the sign of the middle term. So they're both going to be minuses. Now these two brackets are identical, so I can actually write this as x minus 1 squared. Okay, so now because they're the same, I only have to write the factor equal to 0 once, okay, because there's no point doing it twice because it's going to give me the same result. Okay, so now I can say therefore x minus 1 equals 0, which means that x is equal to positive 1. So my ordered pair for this y value is going to be x is 1 and y is negative 4. Okay, so that's what you should have got for that y value. Now we're going to go on to the next y value, which is 0. So I've got 0 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, so now I can go and factorize straight away because I don't need to move anything, and this one is already equal to 0. So I have two sets of brackets. The first term in each bracket is going to be x. Then my factors of 3, I only have 1 and 3. There's no other option. So I'm going to have 1 and 3 in my two brackets, and I can subtract them to get 2. So that's what I need. Okay, but the bigger one needs to get the sign of the middle term. Remember, if the last term is negative, the signs are going to be different, and the bigger factor gets the sign of the middle term. So that's going to be negative 3 and then positive 1 over there. So now I have two factors multiplied together equal to 0, so I can make each factor equal to 0 separately. So therefore, x plus 1 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. Now I can solve for x in each one. So therefore, x is equal to negative 1, or x is equal to 3. And therefore, my ordered pairs are going to be negative 1, 0, and 3, 0. Okay, so that's what you should have got for that y value where y was 0. Now we're going to go and find the ordered pairs where we have y equal to 21. Okay, so now I have 21 equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now once again I have to get 0 on the side like I did in the first one over there. So I'm going to subtract 21 on both sides. That's going to be 0 equals x squared minus 2x, and then negative 3 minus 21 is negative 24. Now here I've got more options for my factors to get 24. So I'm going to have factors of 24 are 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. And I'm going to have to choose the correct pair of factors. Okay, so now we're going to go and open our two brackets. The first term in each bracket is going to be x. I need to be able to subtract the factors of 24 because that's a minus to get 2. So the factor pair that I'm going to be using is the 4 and the 6 because 6 minus 4 gives me 2. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 in the one bracket and 6 in the other bracket. And then the bigger one is going to get the sign of the middle term again because it's negative. The two signs are going to be different. So this is going to be minus over there, and then the 4 is going to be plus. Okay, so now I can go and put those two factors each equal to 0. So therefore, x plus 4 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0. And I can solve for x. So therefore, x is equal to negative 4, or x is equal to 6. And now I can get my ordered pairs. So the ordered pair over here is going to be negative 4, 21. And for this x value, it's going to be 6, 21. Okay, so now I've got all of my ordered pairs for this equation for the given x and y values. These are the ordered pairs for the given x values, and here I've got the ordered pairs for the given y values. Now we need to go and put them into our table in increasing values of x. Okay, so first one I've got, the x value that's smallest out of all of these is this one with negative 4, and the y value is 21. Okay, so that's what you should have got for your first one in the table. Then we have our next one is going to be the negative 2 and 5. Then our next x value is going to be this one over here, negative 1 and 0. So there's negative 1 and 0. Then I've got 0 and negative 3. Then I have over here 1 and negative 4. Then the next one is going to be 3 and 0. And then I have 5 and 12. And then finally 6 and 21. And that's what you should have got for that example. Okay, and that's how we use substitution with equations to generate tables of ordered pairs. Now that we've learned the concepts in this lesson, it's important to practice, practice, practice. If you haven't already got the worksheet that goes with this video, you can find it by clicking on the link in the description below. The worksheet comes with an extra exercise full of questions for you to work on to master the concepts covered in this lesson. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button so that others can benefit from it too. Also, be sure to subscribe so that you can easily find my other lessons, and hit the bell so that you will get notified about lessons as I upload them.